What's going on, everybody? My name is Moose. Welcome to the Star Forge, and today we're doing a little experiment. So the experiment we are doing today is putting all of the most popular budget brands of PETG filament head to head to head to head to head to head, and we're going to see which one is most worth your money. Now, a full disclaimer, I am a bit partial to and have been primarily using Elegoo's Rapid PETG quite a lot, almost exclusively, for the past, I would say, 3 to 5 months. And it has been printing absolutely fantastic. Now, a big part of the reason for that is because of how cheap you can get it, especially if you buy it in the packs of 4 on Amazon, when you can get it for essentially $10 to $11.50 per kilogram, which is a steal. But I believe all of the filaments on the table currently were $15 a kilogram or less. So most of them, I think, were closer to the $10 mark. So we have Elegoo's Rapid PETG right here. We have, I believe this is eSun. We have Sunlu, Overture. This is Anycubic, and then Creality. So we are going to do some print tests for all of these and see the quality of the prints. They will all be printed on the same printer with the same settings. I will just maybe tweak the temperature settings if one recommends something different than another. And then we will print just some like bars and do some durability tests, and we will see which one is most worth the money in your wallet. So stick around, let's get into it. So now we have all of our first test prints done, and we'll throw up on screen a closer look at each one of these so you can kind of see them in more detail. But it was very interesting, the array of results we got, considering that all of these on the box have roughly the same temperatures to be printed at. And so these were all printed at the exact same temperature, exact same like sliced file. So no difference there. On the same printer. They were all printed on an Elegoo Centauri Carbon. And yeah, let's dig into some of these results. So probably the worst one, and this actually had a failure before it came out successfully, was the eSun. So you can see there is a lot of stringing. So like these are supposed to be there, like a little staircase. These strings are not supposed to be there. So this one was very, very stringy. Like even, yeah, especially between those poles you can see. And then over here, I mean, it did fine on like the holes, like nothing was collapsing or anything, but very, very, very stringy. Even like on the outside, you can see a lot of uneven texture. So the eSun is probably the worst one we had. And like I said, this did have one failure. The second worst is probably who is this? This is Creality, and it's same thing, lots of stringing. The quality on this one was much, much better on the actual print, but still a good amount of stringing. And then after that, actually this is maybe tied with Creality. This is Sunlu. So again, just lots and lots of stringing, and I did pull some of these off on accident when I was getting off the print bed, but lots and lots of stringing. The print quality itself is okay though. It's just very stringy. And so, you know, maybe the recommended temperature was just a little bit higher than what it should have been printed at. And, you know, if you knocked it down 10 or 15 degrees, it would have been fine. But yeah, so that's maybe tied with number 2 for the worst one. And then after that, we have the Rapid PETG. Hate to admit it, but this one did string quite a bit on this print, which is interesting because I typically don't have many stringing issues with this filament. And this was a brand new spool, so maybe it was just this print, but the print quality was still very, very good, which is what I'm used to. It just stringed a lot more than what I'm used to. After that, we have the Anycubic filament. This one did not string quite as much, and it might have been kind of close. It's harder to see because it's gray. But the print quality was very good. The holes are all clean. Everything, like all these little details, they stood up fine. It's just a little stringy. And in my opinion, the number one that we had with the least stringing was Overture. So you can see there is basically no stringing, especially between these three poles, which was the weak point on a lot of these. I mean, reasonably so, but on a lot of these, these poles where it would string a lot. And Overture barely had any. The print quality was fantastic. I think I just maybe broke that, I don't know. The bridging, especially for PETG, was really, really good. And I have used lots of Overture in the past, but mostly their PLA. And their PLA was always great, so I'm not surprised their PETG is also a very good quality. So yeah, I think this is probably the best one, is our Overture PETG. So now we're going to print and move on to the strength tests. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a super scientific or complicated really system to test the strength of these. So we have printed these little hooks in each filament, and we are going to line it up so that this first notch is at the lip of the table, and we are just going to pull down on them and then see how much weight it can support before it snaps. So this is the Anycubic hook. Okay, or we'll go before it deforms, I guess, because a lot of these probably won't snap. So there we go. And then this will reset to 0, but we will take a screenshot of where it deformed. Next up, we have Elegoo. There we go. So a little less plastic deformation on that one. Now we have Creality. There we go. So we got on that one, a little bit of a break. Now we have Overture. Okay, so total break on that one. We'll see what that got to. Okay, another full break on this one. This was Sun Lu. And lastly, we have Esun. And another break on the Esun. So let's go see what the max weights were for each of those. I imagine they'll be pretty similar because these were pretty small hooks. So let's check it out. All right, so we had a bit of an issue with the first Overture test where it snapped at basically half the weight of any of the other hooks. So we printed a new one and we are going to redo the test just to verify our data. And if it happens again, then we know it's weaker. And if not, then we know the first one was a fluke. So here we go. Get it on here. And then, why isn't... Oh, I'm pulling the wrong spot. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. So now we got a break much more consistent with the other hooks, and we will verify our data and see what we get. Alrighty, y'all. So now that our testing has completed, let's do a quick recap here. So for the quality test, the winner kind of by far was Overture. It had by far the least stringing. The print quality itself was relatively close across the board. But in terms of the stringing and the bridging and all that stuff, which for PETG can sometimes be harder to achieve than with like PLA, Overture took the cake, absolutely. For the strength test, as you saw, Overture, the first round, did have a semi not normal result where it was way lower than all the other ones. So I'm glad we validated our data, went back and double checked it. It was pretty close between all of them. So, you know, the numbers, keep in mind that, like, you know, Elegoo was the strongest at 79.2. But keep in mind that, like, that was a pretty small piece. So if you're printing something bigger, that's not necessarily reflective of, like, any other filament being much weaker. This was mostly in tensile strength, like flexing and stuff. So just keep that in mind. But Elegoo did win the strength competition. Anycubic came in second, and then Overture was in third after, you know, with the second test. So I think overall it is pretty close for me between Overture and Elegoo. You know, Elegoo I've been using for a long time. Never had any major issues with them. All my prints with them have come out really good. And Overture, I've used their PLA and their TPU in the past and also had great success with those. So if it were me, if it were my recommendation, which, you know, I guess it is, I would personally recommend Overture PETG for your #1 budget PETG filament, with Elegoo being a close second. The other ones, there was just a lot of stringing with those test prints. And who was it? It was Creality actually had a tangle in the spool out of the box. So when I went and printed the hook for the test, I had to print it twice because the first time I didn't notice the tangle and it got stuck. So that is, and granted, you know, that can be a 1 in 1,000 odds. You know, I'm never expecting any brand to have 100% successful spool delivery. Every now and then, no matter what the brand is, you're going to get a tangle, or you're going to get one that is a little too wet, doesn't print quite right. That's just how it goes. You know, when they're making tens of thousands of these spools, you're going to have a few that aren't perfect. But for my recommendation, the Starforge recommendation, Overture PETG is your #1, Elegoo is your #2. We'll probably go Anycubic for #3, Creality #4, Sunlu #5, and eSun for #6. I personally have never been a huge fan of eSun and Sunlu. I have, when I've used them in the past, had relatively consistent, not issues necessarily, but less print quality than what I am accustomed to. So that is how we're gonna wrap it up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this is helpful for some of you out there. If you guys wanna see more of these filament tests, let me know, and let me know what kinds you wanna see, or if you have certain brands that you wanna stack up against other ones. We'll definitely do more of these in the future with other kinds of filament. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all your support, and we will see you guys next time.